Hello everyone, welcome back to GMME. We've got quite a hard one today. We have recurrent decimals and fractions. So what that really means is I'm going to be going through what a recurrent decimal is, how to go from a recurrent decimal to a fraction, how to go from a fraction to a recurrent decimal, and then the two methods to go along with it. So this one is quite hard. It's harder than the rest of the videos I put along. So just stick with it. There'll be some more videos at the end which I'll be linked in the description too if you find it confusing. So let's crack on. So what actually is a recurring decimal? So a recurring decimal is just basically a number that the digits repeat forever. So to give you more of like a view of what they look like, any of these numbers on here are recurring decimals. So they just go on forever and they repeat forever. So we've got 0.333, which is a third, which will repeat forever. Same goes for 9. Same goes for any of these numbers, assuming the pattern just repeats. So for example, this 0.1428, assuming the next number was 1, then 4, then 2, then 8, then 1, then 4, so on, it'll just keep going. That's all a recurrent decimal is. Now let's go to how do we go from a decimal to a fraction? Now these are the steps. So you set the x equal to the decimal, multiply by 10, subtract the original equation, solve and simplify. So if you just remember these 5 steps, you'll be able to do basically any. So if we just take a third, for example, so we all know that a third is 0.333. If we move this down here, I'm going to be proving to you how 0.333 is equal to a third. So just looking at the steps, if we go with number 1, you set x equal to the decimal. So let's do that now. There we go. X is equal to 0.333. Let's look at number 2. Multiply by 10. So whatever you do to one side, you of course have to do to the other. So we've times x by 10 and the decimal by 10. Let's just go through that now. So if you do x times 10, you just get 10x. And if you go with 0.333 times by 10, you just move the decimal place along. So you get 3.333. Look at the next one. So it says subtract original. So I'm going to name this top one equation 1, and I'm going to name this bottom one equation 2. You can see the color coded, one's orange, two's blue. And I'm going to subtract 2 away from 1, and you'll be left with 10x take away x, 3.333 take away 0.333. And if we just start with this left side, so 10x take away x, that gives you 9x, and then 3.33 take away 0.333, it leaves you with 3. Next steps here, solve. Let's solve for x. So we need to divide by that 9. You get 3 over 9. And then the last step is simplify. You get a third. So that basically just proved that 0.333 is equal to a third, which we already knew. But it's good to actually get an idea of how we knew that was proved. They might ask you to check, or they might ask you to do 0.666 or something along them lines, and the method's exactly the same. Now let's go the other way. So how do we get from a fraction to a recurrent decimal? I would always check for the first method first, and then move on to the second. So the first method is the 99 method. Any two-digit number that's divided by 99 is equal to 0. The two-digit number. That does sound confusing, but if we show you an example, says write 7 over 33 as a recurring decimal. Without a calculator, if I didn't know this rule, I'd have to do long division, but this helps out quite a lot. So I recognise that the 33 on the bottom is a factor of 99. So if I write that there, look, as you can see, you can times the bottom by 3 to get 99, but of course you have to times the top by 3 too. So you get 21 over 99. And if you look at this rule up here, any two-digit number, which we have here 21, over 99 is equal to 0.2 digit number recurring. So in the end we have 7 over 33, which I'd have never known. Using this simple rule is 0.21 recurring. Moving on. So if you can't find 99 and you don't have a two-digit number above, you basically just have to do exactly what it says, divide. So the method I'm going to be using is long division, But of course, I mean, if you have a calculator, you could just type in 7 divided by 27 and it would give you it. So for long division, I like to write out the denominator, so the bottom 27, and I like to times it through. It helps me with taking away the numbers. So you can see 27 times 1, 2, 3, so on. So you might get familiar now with exactly what I'm doing. So the numbers on the top, which is where the 0 point is the decimal. And below I have 27. How many times does 27 go into 7? The answer is 0. So I'm going to write zeros along here that have carried along. Now I've written zeros. How many times does 27 go into 70? If we look at this chart up here, it is 2. And then what do I have left over? So it would be 70 take away 54. I have 16 left over, so I'm going to bring that up. As you can see, we now have 160. How many times does 27 go into 160? Let's look over here. It is 5. What do we have left over? 160, take away the 135. We have 25 left over. Let's bring that up again. How many times does 27 go into 250? Let's look at this chart. It's 9. What do we have left over? We have a 7. If we bring that up, well, look, it's exactly the same as the first one. So by that logic, it means it's going to keep repeating. As you can see, 70, 70 there. The next number would be 2, it would be 5, it would be a 9, which therefore means that 7 over 27 is 0.259 recurring. Of course, if you had a calculator, you could just type it in. That's all a divide is. There's a bit of a recap. Decimals. Recurring decimals are basically just decimals that go on forever, that repeat. To turn a decimal into a fraction, you follow these steps. To go the other way, fraction to a recurring decimal, I would always check the 99 rule first, see if you can do it, and then if not, do some long division. This has been a hard one, it's probably been the longest one yet, and been the hardest to understand. So if you have any questions or you find any part hard to do or you struggle, check out the Q&As. It'll give you an actual example of real questions of how to answer them, and you should be able to apply it to any of the ones you do. It does get easier over time, so I just crack on. But yeah, hope that helped, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave a like.